success now. I'm trying so hard not to. Wow. You need sleep. Stop hitting the statistics, man.
Stop hitting me with the stick.
That was the one. You little bitch. And Charlie.
The president of these United States, Joe Biden, calls half of the American population, or roughly half of the American population, garbage. I'm thinking that's a pretty bold move, particularly when your party is in the midst of what appears to be a dead even race for the White House. Referring to half the people as garbage, it's an interesting choice. But what's even more interesting to me is, was this just another Biden gaffe? Or was there something much more substantive and purposeful to it? Now, before we get into all the details of everything that's been going on the last couple of days, which is as crazy as one would expect in this election process, let me just tell the regulars here, you guys know I've been a political junkie forever. I love talking current events, politics, sports, whatever it may be, because we do it in live streams all the time. So I'd like to bring videos that are more topical here, more commentary videos. And towards that end, the laughs, the try not to laughs, the funny reaction videos, I'll still sprinkle them in here, and they can always be accessed over at the Grandpa Curtis channel. So I don't want you guys to think I've left those of you who are fans of that content behind. Just hit the Grandpa Curtis channel. I just posted, or will post today, a Addict the One Try Not to Laugh over there. So please, by all means, go over there and check that out. Subscribe over there. That content will always be there. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description of this video too.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable.
Yeah, that's a that's a pretty rough one right there. I'm not sure that's something you wanted to say in this circumstance. However, in fairness, Joe Biden has always been known as a gaffe machine. As I said, I followed politics my whole adult life, and Biden's been in politics for basically my whole adult life. He's always been prone to gaffes, and I don't say that disparagingly. It's just a fact. There's many instances of Joe Biden just kind of putting his mouth into gear a little bit before his brain. That's well known. He'd always been known to make those miscues. Now, when you add to it what I believe is significant cognitive decline he's experienced, some people may argue that's not the case, but if that weren't the case, I believe he would still be running for president instead of Kamala Harris. I think he would be his party's choice. So when you add to it that potential for that cognitive decline, if that's the case, it's always going to be risky having him out there, because he might say something just like what he said. But here's the thing. A lot of people are floating around the idea, the possibility that this was intentional because of the tension between Biden and Harris. And it does seem to be that there is definitely a butting of heads between the camps of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for a number of reasons. One, I don't think Biden, or the Bidens, Joe and Jill, I don't think, and especially Jill, I don't think ever got over or will ever not resent Joe being pushed aside for Kamala. I don't think Joe wanted to drop out of this race. I think he was pushed out. I think that hasn't set well with him, and I think it hasn't set well at all with Jill. Also, there are rumors saying that Joe Biden has made himself available to Kamala Harris for, helping her on the campaign trail. That's what the rumors say, is that his people have talked to her people and said, let us know where and when you need us. We're there to help you campaign. And she's just been kind of like, remember the little bald guy on Benny Hill? She's just doing kind of one of those to him, saying, thank you, little guy, but run along. This is my game now. That's what the rumors say. So is it possible that Joe Biden intentionally just kind of, tossed a grenade into the middle of the Harris campaign because he's pissed? I guess anything is possible. I don't think that's the case, though. As I said, Biden's prone to doing things like this anyway. He's slipping out there. I mean, we see him wandering aimlessly a lot. I think it was an accident, but boy, this could be a really big accident. Time will tell how much of an effect this will have on the electorate, but this could be a big one. Now, you guys know I lean right, and I have already voted for Trump. Again, I'm not by any stretch MAGA. I don't even like Donald Trump as a person. I just vote for policy over personality. But all that said, so how much of an effect could this have on an election, especially when so many votes have already been cast in this election, particularly in the important swing states? Well, here's where I see it. Those on the left probably think it was funny, understandably, that Biden said that about their political enemies here, which this country is just divided into two camps and each sees the other as the enemy. For somebody like me, it doesn't offend me personally. Again, to me, I see it as an old man who I think probably misspoke what he meant to say, even if somewhere deep down he kind of believes it. But do I care that he said it? No. The only people you have to worry about if you're concerned about who wins this election are those who haven't voted yet and really are really are middle of the road, haven't made up their mind, potential voters for your side. I don't think that helps his case at all. Helps Kamala's case at all, Biden having said that. That it's going to put people off. People don't care for you referring to half the population as garbage if they're really genuinely split as to who they want to vote for and they don't actually have a team. That's where, and in a tight election, who knows? Now, mind you, the Republicans have had their own little hand grenade thrown into things from Tony Hinchcliffe. For any of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you have heard about it by now. At Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden, Tony Hinchcliffe, who is a comedian, Tony Hinchcliffe trades on shock humor, on kind of vicious humor. It's what he does. It's what they do on his show, which is wildly popular. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying if you're going to have Tony Hinchcliffe speak, you better be prepared for the fact that there might be something coming out of his mouth that's going to set a lot of people off. And of course, Hinchcliffe made a joke about Puerto Rico being how do you put it, a floating island of garbage?
There's a lot going on. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Now, also in fairness, I should point out that joke refers to the fact that Puerto Rico is having a serious issue with garbage. They don't know what to do with their waste. The garbage problem in Puerto Rico is real right now, and it's a major concern, and that's where the joke emanates from. Those who want to use this as a political weapon would rather just have it characterized as Hinchcliffe was he was aiming that directly at the people of Puerto Rico, not the garbage issue. I think that's a stretch because that joke works better and only works if you understand that Puerto Rico is inundated with garbage right now and they don't know what to do about it. But a lot of people have taken that and run with it and said, this shows one more example of Trump and his people and his campaign being racist, so on and so forth. Will that have an impact? Possibly. I know a Puerto Rican senator after the Hinchcliffe joke has come out and backed Donald Trump. So I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of major feedback from that. There was some gathering somewhere where two people holding Puerto Rican flags were protesting, and it was literally two. I don't think that's a big number. Nah, I don't know. It could. I just think that the whole calling half of the American population, and you're the sitting president, and the boss of the candidate who was your running mate, having that person call half the people in America garbage has the potential, I think, to make more of an impact. So I don't know. You guys tell me, what do you think? And if you can, try and leave your voting predispositions aside. Do you think this is going to hurt the Harris campaign? Do you think it's something that just, even though there's only a week left, people just water under the bridge, people push it aside? You got to remember, the thing that struck me immediately when this happened was back to Hillary Clinton and her basket of deplorables comment. We saw the narrow, tiny margins by which she lost that election. Basket of deplorables definitely did nothing to help that margin. We could be looking at similar margins, very likely be looking at similar margins this time. Is having the President of the United States and the running mate of Kamala Harris, is it a good idea to have him calling everybody who supported Trump in any way garbage? Probably not, but it's gonna be an interesting one to see, and see if we can determine just how much of an effect it had on the outcome when we're sitting around talking about things this time next week. Let me know what you guys think.
I think this might be it. Wow, hey, look, you
Excuse
guys,
me.
the sun's rising.
And it does it all day.
Computer, how long are the days on this planet?
42.